Hello, everyone at Wellspring. I hope everyone is doing well amidst everything that is currently going on. I know that everyone is not in the same boat during this time. You may be in isolation, working from home in isolation, taking time off work, or not currently working, and even there are those some who are still working in essential services. I hope everyone is getting much needed time to grow and lean into their relationship with God. I know personally that I've been needing to really focus a lot of my focus and energy into leaning into Him because of everything that's going on with my life currently. Now, this week, Pastor Mark spoke on a message that I wrote down entitled, God Breaks Social Distancing. He compared sin to a virus because sin represents everything that is against God because of how perfect He is. When sin is full grown, it brings death because when sin comes into contact with God, it's the nature of how things are. Much like he compared a chemical reaction of baking soda and vinegar, or water and sodium or potassium. When you mix either of these two things together, it's not really the element's fault, it's just the nature of an explosive reaction. Mark read from the book of Leviticus, explaining in the Old Testament days that before Christ came, the high priest would go into the holiest of holy places in order to talk to God on behalf of the whole nation. But there was a sense of fear because of all the steps and procedures that had to follow, and how scared they were because of how serious it was to be absolute on point with all these markers, or they could risk being killed by God. Now we jump ahead to the New Testament when Christ came and died on the cross for all of humanity. When his blood was shed, it wiped it all away, and as Mark put it, God came out from the place where he was hiding, and that the relationship with God can now be fulfilled without fear. Because of Christ, we can confidently draw near to God. God wanted to have a close relationship with all of us beforehand, but without Jesus, we were not able to do it. We don't have to experience anything like this as to what people in the Old Testament ever had to go through. Now, this week's message made me think of kind of like in a similarity between everything that's going on. As a person who works as a retail manager in the grocery store, it's kind of funny to see how with everything going on with COVID-19, we have to place steps involved, make sure that we're social distancing between people about 6 feet. You have to pretty much follow the markers. Everything has to be sanitized. You pretty much have to follow a specific guideline in order to go shopping throughout the store. Because if not, then there is also that potential risk of a virus being infected by you. So I find it kind of ironic that this week's message is kind of saying how in the old days that you had to follow these things in order to God sort of forgive the nation or even to be able to talk to a high priest. And thanks to Christ, we were able to rid that old time in each one of us who has Christ in our lives. We were able to have that close relationship with him. So I think it's kind of funny that we're kind of living like in Old Testament days, sort of like in the grocery stores right now, or even just being outside where we can't have that close contact relationship with other people. So I think in this time I've kind of been like reflecting on the idea that maybe we take certain things for granted because of everything that God has done in our lives and everything that he has provided for us, that we're actually able to have that close relationship with him, and we're able to lean into him for especially for these dark times. Whereas if we all come together now and then we can work towards making sure that we can go back towards that time where we can actually socialize with everybody and everything can somewhat go back to normal. But I found it kind of funny how working in the public right now, it's kind of sort of like the Old Testament ways where we can't really be friendly with everybody. We're kind of just going out doing our thing, and then it's pretty much just wham bam, and then that's how you're getting out of the grocery store. And I think we just need to reflect on that. Thanks to Christ and everything, that we are able to have that closer relationship with God, and much like how once this is all over, we can actually go back to having those closer relationships with other people. Well, that's all the time that I have for now. So I hope everyone has a happy Easter this weekend with whatever you're doing, whether or not you're spending it alone or spending it with family. But just remember that even if you are at home alone and you're not able to have anybody over for a big family dinner this year for Easter, just remember that God is here with us because Christ shed his blood for us, and that we are able to draw near to him, and that he loves us, and we all love you. So please take care and have a great week, and we'll see you soon.